What will be the legacy of Harry and Meghan's return to the United Kingdom and the face-to-face meeting between King Charles and his grandchildren in Highgrove House? Who better to ask than someone that knows Harry and King Charles intimately well, the royal butler, Grant Harold. Good morning, Grant.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. Did it surprise you that in the end, notwithstanding all the negative headlines about Harry's accommodation at Buckingham Palace, he said, she said, that the face-to-face meeting eventually did happen?
Half and half, to be honest with you. Part of me hoped and assumed that they would meet, but then with everything kind of taking place, I started thinking maybe it's unlikely. The only thing that was interesting that I kind of did guess that the meeting, I did have a feeling if it took place, it would be at Highgrove, only because of how, I'm sure you've been to Highgrove, Matt, but it's in a very secluded, very private location. So it just made sense.
Well, I think it did make sense. And it was a coup for Prince Harry to get that face-to-face meeting with his father, with Meghan back on royal property and a face-to-face between the king and his grandchildren. Quite the moment for the family.
It was, Matt, and I think what also did surprise me, but I was really happy about it, was the fact that being told that she was at Ray Mill, which is a house not too far from her other home, and she actually returned from Ray Mill to Highgrove to be there for the actual meeting, to be there for this. I'm sure for many reasons. One is obviously his backup, but also support, and to be there to meet her step-grandchildren. So it's quite hats off to her, because I thought it was such a big thing, considering what had all taken place and what had been said.
Now, does the fact that the Sussexes with their children were able to go to Highgrove, they flew into the country, they go to Highgrove, perhaps other parts of the UK as well, and then they go back home, does it make a mockery of their demands for 24/7 royal security, given that that was not provided?
Oh, Matt, this is what everyone's saying, and this is the big question everyone's kind of asking, is why do they want all the security if they were able to, especially with Meghan coming, nobody saw her, there was no footage of her. She managed to come into the country with the children, do what they had to do, and then leave again. And of course, it's been said that she was saddened that she wasn't able to be with her husband for many of the events, but you're right, I think this does prove a point. And the other thing quickly to mention, Matt, is I said to the lovely Joe and Katie, that you know as well, the other day I mentioned to them that Princess Anne quite famously wanders around.
For years, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have insisted that stepping away from royal life was about gaining independence, financial independence, personal freedom, and the chance to build a life outside the institution. But following their recent visit to the United Kingdom, a new debate has taken over royal headlines, leaving many people asking a different question. If they truly wanted to leave royal life behind, why does every major royal development seem to draw them back in? The discussion intensified after reports emerged that Harry, Meghan, Archie and Lilibet attended a private family reunion with King Charles and Queen Camilla at Highgrove House. The meeting was kept remarkably private, with no official photographs, no public appearances, and almost no information released about what was discussed. While many viewed it as a heartfelt attempt to reconnect a father with his son and a grandfather with his grandchildren, others immediately began questioning the timing. Harry's visit came during one of the most difficult weeks he has faced in Britain in years. His ongoing dispute over security once again dominated headlines. His latest legal battle ended in a major setback, and his public criticism of the court's decision drew strong reactions from commentators and former officials. Former Royal Protection Chief Di Davies went as far as describing Harry as the author of his own misfortune, arguing that many of his current problems have been made worse by his own decisions. According to page 6, sources close to Meghan reportedly said she found the trip humiliating, because what was supposed to focus on family and Harry's work with the Invictus Games instead became overshadowed by controversy, lawsuits, and criticism. Reports suggested she returned to California with Archie and Lilibet before Harry completed the remainder of his engagements, leaving him to deal with the fallout alone. It was against this backdrop that speculation about Meghan's motives began to grow. Critics questioned why she had returned to Britain after several years away, but avoided every public engagement, appearing only for the private family meeting with King Charles. Some suggested she was trying to repair the Sussexes' relationship with the monarchy, while others claimed she wanted to protect Archie and Lilibet's connection to the royal family, or preserve their place within royal history. More sceptical voices even suggested financial motives, arguing that maintaining a close relationship with the monarchy could ultimately benefit the Sussex family's public image or future opportunities. However, despite widespread speculation, there is no confirmed evidence that Meghan attended the meeting to seek money, inheritance, titles, new royal privileges, or a return to official duties. Those claims remain opinions expressed by critics rather than facts supported by credible reporting. In fact, Meghan's actions during the visit can also be interpreted very differently. She reportedly avoided Harry's public Invictus appearances, stayed away from photographers, did not release any photographs from the reunion, gave no interviews afterward, and has remained publicly silent about the private conversation with the King. Former royal butler Grant Harold suggested that this quiet approach may actually support the idea that the visit was intended to remain a personal family matter rather than a public relations exercise. He also noted that bringing Archie and Lilibet to see their grandfather after several years could have been one of the strongest motivations behind the journey, especially given King Charles' ongoing health challenges and the importance of allowing grandparents and grandchildren to build a relationship despite the disagreements between the adults. The decision to hold the meeting at Highgrove rather than Buckingham Palace further reinforced its private nature. Highgrove has long been King Charles' personal retreat, making it a more natural setting for a family reunion than an official royal residence. The absence of Prince William also suggested this was not an attempt to solve every family dispute at once, but rather a limited first step toward rebuilding communication. At the same time, Harry's continued legal battles, public criticism of the British establishment, and long-running security dispute continue to fuel scepticism among many members of the public, leading some to question whether reconciliation with the royal family can ever truly be separated from the Sussexes' public profile. Ultimately, the debate surrounding Meghan's motives says as much about public perception as it does about Meghan herself. Supporters see a wife standing beside her husband during a difficult family moment and a mother giving her children the chance to know their grandfather. Critics see a couple whose commercial success remains closely linked to their royal identity and therefore question every reunion and every private meeting. The truth is that only the people inside that room know what was actually discussed. What is clear is that no reliable evidence has emerged showing Meghan returned to Britain to request financial support or negotiate royal benefits. Instead, the Highgrove reunion has become another example of how every decision made by Harry and Meghan is interpreted through completely different lenses, ensuring that even a private family meeting becomes the subject of worldwide debate. Whether this visit marks the beginning of genuine reconciliation or simply a temporary pause in years of tension remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. Until trust is fully restored, every move the Sussexes make will continue to spark questions about their intentions, their future, and the role they still play in the story of the modern royal family.